I have got a wonderful, incredible guest here with me tonight. So without any delay, I'm going to go ahead and welcome my friend Amy from
Hi, Miss
Amy's
Joanne.
Sewing Quilt. Hey, Amy, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody. I'm Amy from Amy Baughman Sewing Quilt in beautiful Harmony, Pennsylvania, just north of the city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and also Amy Sews, which is where we do most of our serging.
Kind of the theme of this show was to be decorative serging on your serger. Oh, yes, absolutely. It is possible and something you absolutely want to play with. Moving on then, just some basic tips. When you are doing decorative serging or you're serging outside of the normal standard, you want to always do a balanced stitch first. And you do that because if you start putting decorative threads in and everything goes wonky crazy and you have no idea what's going on, you're going to wonder if your serger's broke. Right, Amy?
Absolutely.
You're going to wonder if something like it, is really wrong with this machine. And it may just be the technique you're doing or the thread you're using or the settings you've got. So if you start with a balanced stitch and you do run your fabric through and you get a balanced stitch, we know that the serger is okay, right? She is okay. And if we start making her do something else, she's still okay. She just may not be okay with what we're trying to make her do.
Right.
So think of that. Have you changed your needle? I know serger needles last longer than sewing machine needles. Would you agree, Amy?
Yeah, I think because there's two of them, they're not working, they work a little faster, but the penetration is even because the serger controls it. And you're not pulling like you do on your sewing machine, right? Which we shouldn't do anyway. But I'm just saying the serger is pretty good about hanging on to needles.
Exactly. But it doesn't mean you still shouldn't be changing those needles. So if you can feel it with your fingernail and you feel any little bit of a little glitch there, absolutely throw those needles away and start fresh. If you start hearing a little bit of a popping sound, that's also a kind of a prime signal that it's time to change those needles. And also, if you're getting skip stitches, that's another prime reason to change your needle. Or if you're maybe getting some snags in your fabric. And I know for me in particular, if I'm going to sew on a fine knit, I'm almost always going to start out with fresh needles because I don't want to take any chance of my needle poking a hole in that knit. And when a knit gets a hole poked in it, the chain is broken. It means you're going to have a run. And if you have a run, it could run further than you want it to run and not be a pretty thing. So yeah. Oh, wow, Amy. That is amazing. Hold that up. Let me pull that up closer here so everybody can see it.
That's the back and that's the front.
Woo-wee.
So that's quick and easy piecing with your serger. But it's quick. And if you face it, if you make something for kids that they're going to lay on the floor and they play fort, they kill each other with it, the serger is the perfect way to go.
You're right.
So that was I did a 4 thread on that, I believe.
Okay. In the previous show, I showed a couple samples of things that were done where I actually quilted it and serged it even at
oh, perfect. Time.
So
and this is just a simple bow tie quilt.
Let me bring it up again. So
okay. I don't mean to torture you.
We all want to see it.
So it's dimensional, right? You can see the bow ties are puffy.
Oh, so, now let's see the back. Let's see the back.
Okay. Let's hope it's nice and neat. This was my test sample. See, it's not pressed, so it's just put together.
Yeah, I love it.
But even right where these knots go, there's not a whole lot of bulk there, so it's good.
Yeah. Patricia says she's also a quilter and got a serger and made several table toppers to start. Nice, flat finish seams.
So this was just a reversible flip and strip. Or strip and flip, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, so you quilted it at the same time that you pieced it and sewed the seams. Yeah.
And we did a wave edge finish, even though my serger doesn't have a button for a wave. You can do a wave finish on any serger.
Oh, let's talk about that. Why don't you go ahead and, while we're on that subject, give a little bit of an explanation on that. So let's first of all what a wave is.
So a wave stitch is when the lower looper thread is pulled to the upper side. Okay. And when your sewing machine or your serger, that's what sergers, when your serger has that button. Certain brands have a button to do a wave stitch, and they're pretty expensive, but all you have to do, right? So I just rest my hand on the top of my serger, and I just hold on to the upper looper thread, and I just go like this at the same pace. It's enough tension to pull that lower thread over to the top, and you've got a wave stitch.
Yeah. Yeah. So you use contrasting thread. You use a
Yep.
different color in the upper looper and a different color and another contrast thread in the lower looper. And then basically what you're doing is I'm going to use a crazy word, you're whacking out the tension.
All right.
You're making the tension go crazy.
I'm pulling like a string on a puppet, just like that. It's just enough tension, and make sure your thread's the same weight top and bottom too. That makes it look a little better.
Yeah.
But you don't have to have fancy to have fun with your serger. But we've seen a huge insurge since the air threading, people getting new sergers, and they handle decorative threads really well. But we use a lot of decorative threads here, but not necessarily like flashy on clothing or that kind of thing. But sergers are becoming very popular again, which makes me very happy.